Hello and welcome again to the Badminton Europe Podcast. Mark Phelan with you once again, and it's my real pleasure and honour to welcome Chris Langridge alongside me. Chris, one half of the men's doubles pair from England who won Olympic bronze in Rio in 2016. Chris, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I just mentioned that Olympic medal, and what a week that must have been, and I'm probably guessing you're almost sick of talking about it at this stage, but if you can take us back to that time a little bit, and it's a few years ago now, and what was that feeling like getting that medal? Can you recall it again, and what were the few months like after that?
It was incredible. It really was. If I'm brutally honest, I never thought I would achieve that much success, because I'm quite an honest guy. I know my ability, I know my level, and to win an Olympic medal is above my level. It's just, everyone has a time period where they play, let's say, to the very best of their game, and by a bit of luck, it was Olympics for us. Obviously, the best time to do it. Yeah. But no, it was incredible. The one difficult thing for myself is, unfortunately, badminton in Britain or England is not very popular. And we did phenomenally well as a team, as in Team GB at the Olympics. So we came back, and within a matter of minutes, we were forgotten, which I didn't have a problem with, because I don't play badminton to be famous. I play badminton because I love the sport, and I do enjoy playing. I think the difficult thing was just, you come back and it's your best achievement ever. You're on cloud 9, and then a matter of months later, you get told, "I'm really sorry, the sport's got no funding at all." And it really was a kick in the teeth, because all that hard work and everything, and we thought finally we can put badminton on the map in Britain. You get a few more people playing, get it a little bit more popular, and instantly kicked to the curb. And we had an inkling before that unless we won a medal, there was a great chance we're going to lose the funding. We weren't told that, but we had an inkling, just because of we're a much lower sport than rowing, cycling, sailing. I'm sure to a lot of other people that they've never watched a sailing. I've never watched a sailing race, but it's big in it's big in Britain. The sports where we sit down, we seem to be very good at. But that's where our money's pumped, and with our funding at the moment, they don't want to take any risks. They want to pump all the money we have into the sports they're doing very well at. So cycling is unbelievably well funded, along with rowing. This is why we're doing really well. It's the same in badminton. You've got incredible amount of depth from a country like Japan. They've got so many amazing players. I'm pretty sure their budget's quite big. Hand in hand, if you've got a lot of money, you're going to have a lot of players. And unfortunately in Britain, it kind of went from a good amount of money to then none. And it was a shock. And it was, for me personally, very tough to take, because when I won my Olympic medal, I wasn't on funding. And I think I'm one of the only British athletes, as in Team GB, to ever win an Olympic medal and not be on funding. And then also to be the only athlete to have won a medal and still not be on funding. But, it's the way it is. And it took me a bit of time to get my head around it and everything like that, and I'm fine with it now. But it was frustrating. And, a lot of other things in my life have happened since that have made playing a little bit tougher, but also have made me appreciate some other things in life, and kind of open my eyes up to the real world, which is incredible. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. But yeah, it has been a big roller coaster since then.
Yeah. So Chris, as you explained, in depth your Olympic experience there, and but that Olympic medal is in there. It's in that pocket. You are an Olympic medal winner, and you will be that forever. So that's a huge achievement. And to do it the way you said it, with no funding, and to come back with no funding is a tremendous achievement. I remember you, actually, you might remember this, I remember you winning a men's doubles in Sweden once with Robin Middleton, was it? Yeah. And I remember when you won that, you ran around the court in celebration. It was one of the very first tournaments I was ever at, and that sort of gave me a gauge as to the kind of personality you are on court. Do you remember that occasion?
Yeah, actually, do you know what? It's a funny story, just because it goes back to what we just discussed about funding. Okay. Because at that time, we had a coach, I won't mention any names, we had a coach in charge who wasn't so keen on myself. Okay. So me and Robin obviously had the same results, and he was on funding and I wasn't at that time. Oh, okay. But by winning that tournament, cemented my place on funding. So that's why maybe I was a bit overzealous with my celebration, because it meant a lot to me, because I felt that time I was a little bit unjustified to not be on funding when my partner was. You know, we're a similar standard, just maybe the coach wasn't so keen on myself at the time, so then I wasn't on funding. And it makes a big difference when you have to, you know, I wasn't allowed to train at the National Centre full time. I had to train with other people at a club, and in England we don't have clubs. So it's not like Denmark, where you know they have phenomenal depth and great players to train within clubs. You know, I was paying my own way to train at a local club, and the standard wasn't so good, and you know it was difficult. So it was great at that time to kind of prove a few people wrong, and that's, to be honest, what I've done throughout my career. I've had to kind of prove a few people wrong, because not everyone's believed in myself. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you should stop. But I've always had belief. You know, I'm not going to be the best, but I've had belief of my level, and as long as I'm performing to what I think is a good level for myself, I'm happy. If it gets to a stage where I'm not, then I will hang my racket up and accept, because no one enjoys losing.
What are your strong points on court? What do you see, you know, the real strong points of Chris Langridge's game?
I think on court and off court, I'm two different people. I'm almost like Jekyll and Hyde. You know, I get a bit of stick from the lads, just because on court I'm a bit of a menace. You know, I'm not a bad guy at all. Like, I'd never cheat or anything. That's miles. You know, I'd never do that. But I'd rile up some feathers. You know, I won't just, if I'm going to lose, I hope I won't, you know, just lose lying down and accept it. I want to try and do everything I can, obviously within the rules, to try and win. And you know, I am feisty, and it's just because I do want to win. You know, if someone challenges me to a game of bowling, I'm not bothered who wins. You know, I won't be a feisty guy. I'll have a laugh, mess around. You know, I'll enjoy it. But badminton for me is, you know, it's what I do. It's my job. I've done it since I think I started at 10, but kind of properly I was about 13, and you know, it's my whole life. That's what I've done. So I don't enjoy losing at badminton. If the wife plays me on the computer, she can win. I'm not bothered, as long as, you know, I don't get any aggro from her winning. That's fine. But when it comes to badminton, you know, I want to prove I still am good, and it's not fun. You go out there and lose. It's just not enjoyable. You know, you travel half around the world, you play badly, you lose. It's tough. It really is tough. You go back to a hotel room, and you know what do you do yourself? You're in a little pit of doom in a way, and you know, you're frustrated, you're angry. Why did I lose? Why didn't I play? Well, I've travelled all this distance, and for myself now it's even harder, because I'm leaving a whole family behind in England. But it's great. Like today, you know, we very patchy, but we did play quite well overall, and we got the win. So things like that do make it worth it. And if we can just get rid of the rubbish, the little patches of rubbish, then it's fine. And you know, I still believe we can perform to a good standard.
You guys, yourself and Marcus, you have a great chemistry. That's evident. Do you see a future for you as a pair to really push on again after that Olympic, and you know, get back up to those elevated levels of the top end of the world rankings again?
I mean, men's doubles now is unbelievable. There's so many good pairs. It's every month there's a new pair emerging who are brilliant. I mean, for us, we've got a focus of, we'd love to perform to a good standard at All England. It's a home tournament. It's a great tournament. And then we've got Commonwealths, which I know a lot of people don't really understand, because if you're not in the Commonwealths, it seems like a very strange thing. But for England, it is big, because it's kind of us showing off our empire. So for us, it is very important. And obviously, timing-wise, is awful. Straight after this, and then get back from Australia, and we go straight to the Europeans. So, but there are kind of targets, let's say, for this duration. And then we're just taking it kind of almost not month by month, but section by section, just because there's so many tournaments out there, so many things happening, and the finances in England aren't, let's say, what everyone would like it to be, just because the sport isn't as big as, you know, it seems like. I don't know, but you know, badminton in Denmark seems pretty big now, and obviously in Asia it's massive, and even other parts of Europe, it seems like maybe the sport in their country is a bit bigger. You know, in England it's like our 12th sport maybe behind other sports, like rugby, for instance. You know,
for example,
it's massive in England, but you know, Denmark don't play it, Germany don't play it, Holland don't play it, and they're big countries.
France also, who's a huge membership base now playing badminton. I think 10 times more people in France playing badminton than any other country in Europe. So I see what you're saying. We'll move on a little bit from that, and you know, your partnership with Marcus, what do both of you bring to the table? And you know, it comes together, and it's fiery here from you, and you know, and Marcus is a little bit effervescent too. He's, you know, an animated character on court. What makes it work?
I think, you know, trust in each other, because you've got to believe in the partnership and each other. So we both know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we try and, as best as we can, I do things to not make Marcus look better, but make his job easier, and he does the same for me. And we're very similar but very different, which I think is good, because you don't want to be too exactly the same, otherwise you kind of got two players the same, almost doing the same thing. But I think we're kind of a pair that you almost get annoyed with, because we don't do anything amazing, but we kind of just frustrate you till you almost make a mistake. But, you know, we do have a good understanding of what the other one's doing, and a good kind of cohesion on court in regards to, well, when we're playing well anyway, what we're doing, and the transition, the movement, and yeah, I think it's just kind of, we almost frustrate our players into losing rather than necessarily us winning. But it is.
Do you think, Chris, that other pairs don't like to play against you?
I mean, when we're playing well, I'd say, you know, I'd agree. When we're not playing well, I'd say anyone likes players. But no, when we're playing well, I would say we're not necessarily, you know, your flamboyant, extravagant, hitting winners left, right and centre. We're kind of an annoying pair to play in regards to, we put up a bit of a wall, and we kind of just try and keep another one coming back, and then we'll do something you maybe don't expect every so often. And, you know, and especially at Olympics, we were just quite solid and consistent. And, you know, since then, unfortunately, it's kind of been a bit of a roller coaster for a number of reasons, but our performances have been quite good, not so good, quite good, not so good, very bad, good. You know, they just haven't had the consistency. And, you know, as I said, men's doubles now is so strong that you come up against so many world-class pairs. If you're not at your best, you're going to lose.
I've heard people say this about you and Marcus, and I would kind of agree with some of them, that yourself and Marcus are probably the most underrated and undervalued players before Rio, in the Olympic setup. You know, everyone would say, "Oh, Chris, bring this," but the focus would be on other players, maybe within the England team. You would accept that. You know, Adcox get a lot of focus, of course, and Raj gets a lot of attention. Do you think after that medal you've dispelled that myth?
Not really, to be honest, but I don't mind. You know, if I've got to give full credit to everyone in the team, because we do have some great players. In all honesty, we don't have enough great players, just because a number of things, we don't have the depth in our country. But I don't mind if people don't talk about me. I have no problem, because if I'm not performing, fair enough. And in all honesty, we've had some good performances, some bad. Yeah, Olympics is obviously the pinnacle, but except for that, we haven't done amazing things. So, you know, I do feel Raj is maybe underrated as well in regards to, because he's achieved some incredible things, considering at times he doesn't have anyone to train with, as in any other singles players. He was just training with us doubles guys, and that's not great for him when he's going on court and he's playing Lin Dan. I mean, Lin Dan's, I'm assuming, got, you know, an army of players to just spar with, and he's got kind of me and Marcus, which
he probably pays for them himself.
Yeah,
in his own private backyard or wherever it is. But I get it. Yeah, you're probably right about Raj. And the thing about Raj is he continues to do it at such a high level and perform. And when he plays for England, you know, with those team events, brings out the best in him for sure. Family man, Chris. You know, twins. Not just one, but two. I'm a dad. I know what that feels like, and it's quite difficult to explain that feeling. You know, seeing your children come into the world first and foremost, and then getting used to that feeling of working, family, and that kind of clash almost between commitments. How have you managed it?
Well, I've got to say, every parent out there who has twins, I've got honestly so much respect and admiration for, because my wife kept saying, "Oh, it's going to be tough," and I was like, "Yeah, we'll be all right." Flipping heck. The first week, I got 7 hours sleep in total the whole week. Okay. And it hasn't got much better since. Okay. Because with twins, it's not when you have one baby and the baby sleeps, you can sleep, because the other one's awake going bananas, or one of them's a bit under the weather, the other one's all right, you've got to separate them. Well, that's not easy to do. And there were patches where I was almost losing my marbles, because, you know, you haven't slept, you're going into training, you're tired, then, you know, you're up most of the night because the little one's not so happy. And before you know it, you're literally almost going around the twist. But, you know, I am lucky because my wife is very good with them. She's almost like a baby whisperer, because I'll try and do it, and then she'll go in and get them to sleep, and I don't know how she's done it, but I am lucky because she is really good with them and stuff, because it is tough when so I go to training in the morning, obviously not on loads of sleep, train as hard as I can, come home, help out, go to training, come home, help out. Then you go to bed and you get in broken sleep of, say, 3 hours here, 3 hours there. And it is tough just because as an athlete, you do need to rest, you do need to recover. And the weekends, you could go for a gentle run. You could do a bit of training. You can do this, you can do that, but you're still resting. Maybe you're getting up a bit later. Well, 5 o'clock, you know, that's wake up time because they don't understand it's a Saturday. They're good to go and they're, you know, going crazy and stuff. But then on the flip side, incredible. It is incredible. Like every week, something different's happening with them. They're learning this, they're doing that. And
what age are they now?
So they're just over 9 months.
Okay.
So they're starting to. You can interact, obviously not properly interact, but you know they're talking, they gaga stuff, but they'll smile, they giggle, and they're just so happy. So it is amazing when I come home from training. I'm like knackered, and then I see them and their little faces light up because it is incredible, and it gives you that extra like, okay, I can actually, you know, bath them, sort them out, do this, feed them, and I can do this because the last thing you want to do when you come in is you just want to sit down just for 10 minutes and rest and relax, but you can't because. You can't say to them, girls, are you all right if I just chill out for 10 minutes? You just sit there because they don't understand anything. But being a dad and an athlete, it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way because it is incredible. It really is. But then on the flip side, you're so tired and drained most of the time that, I mean, there's an interesting stat. So we're lucky enough that for a short duration, we've got a new team helping us with kind of strength and conditioning and improving certain aspects of that. And they give us these, we'll look crazy doing it, but it's like a monitor you put on your hand and your forehead and then a heart rate band, and you connect it to your phone and it gives a reading and it gets sent to them and then they tell us. And there was a duration where I was feeling tired, and there's a rating system of how good you are to go, as in how hard you can train. And they said anywhere between 9 and 49 is kind of the region you should be in. So 49 is you're ready to go, brilliant. 9, you're in a bit of trouble. I was getting minus 50. You know, so these scores, he was like, we're in a bit of trouble here. But it's just because you're, you know, everything's going on. It's non-stop. You don't get a time out. So,
but it takes some time to adjust to it, of course. You know, and as you said, it's not just one. There's 2 of them come on board, and wait till they start moving, my friend. And I'm sure people have said that to you already. Wait till they start moving around. But the other thing is, when you're old, they're the ones that look after you.
I hope so. I hope so.
Chris, we're going to wrap it up at that. And it's been an absolute insight into your world, your family world, your honest opinions and impressions to me there, and everything about badminton. The one thing he hasn't done is we can't get this guy on social media yet properly. I know all the guys have tried.
My wife, she's good at it. She's really good at it. But I don't know. I feel like who wants to know about me? That's what I think.
There'll be a lot of people who want to know, Chris. Because at this point, I would say, make sure you follow Chris Langridge on Instagram on Twitter.
I'd say it'd be better to follow my wife. She's honestly, hers is much better than mine.
Okay, follow Chris's wife, and while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Badminton Europe on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram channels, profiles. Subscribe to YouTube, and of course now we are on iTunes with all our podcasts, so you'll be able to find Chris Langridge everywhere. Chris, thanks for joining us once again, and until the next time, goodbye.